Okay, so let's start with say and spell your name for me.
Okay. I'm not doxxed, so I'm just gonna go ahead and give you my Twitter name. That's good. All right, cool. I'm talking to you. Okay. My name is Commander Crypto. COMMANDERCRYPT0. And what next?
What do you do?
Okay, so I'm a marketer of 10 years in Web 2. I've been in many different industries such as racing, esports, gaming, ophthalmology, accident law, travel, and many other things. In Web 3, I've been working as a marketer for the last 7 years, possibly working for 25 different startups, anywhere from full-time positions to freelance positions, ranging back to 2015. Yeah.
So what are you going to do in Web 4?
Well, what is Web 4? No idea what Web 4 is. What's Web 4?
AI integration.
AI integration?
You're the first person of 30 people. First.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, I got
that's
a lot
the
to
answer
talk
I've been
about with
waiting.
you then.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
yes.
now that she said that, I'm gonna say
The-
something
the
funny right now.
Funniest answer I got was teleportation.
Oh, gosh. Please,
No, here's what I've been saying
That's
for
quantum
about
computing.
6
That's
months.
+5.
It's when Web 3 is actually working and AI is coming into it. So it's the sandbox or the test bed for the merger of the two, because I believe Web 5 will actually be working integrated AI
Yeah,
and not in the James Cameron sense of AI.
most definitely, yeah.
But you were the first person who said it, and that's the answer I've been waiting for.
Wow, that means a lot.
I have gotten a lot of great answers, but
And
what is it is great.
To
I also
answer now
Why don't we
that-
get Web 3 to work? Let's just stop that.
Yeah.
Let's focus here and now.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, but I just figured because we did. Okay, so
Right.
let's get into this. So you're straddling the line of both.
Yeah.
Is that a difficult thing to get people who are really, really deep into Web 2 to kind of see Web 3 anything other than smoke and mirrors, snake oil, Ponzi scheme? You're too young to remember pyramid, but
Right. So when I first got into crypto, I was just merely an investor. I was just trying to come in, trying to see what it was all about, trying to see if I can make some money. Went into Bitcoin, bought a little bit of Ethereum, and then one day someone gave me a chance. Someone decided to hire me on as their marketer. It was very much a freelance gig. And from there, all of a sudden, I fell in love. I fell in love with the community. I fell in love with how passionate these people were about decentralization. And it all snowballed from there. From then on, I was doing my Web 2 marketing for Web 2 businesses. And in tandem, I was also working with Web 3 companies as well, startups for the most part. And I was doing that in tandem for the last 7 years. So I would have my Web 2 business by day, Web 3 by night, mostly working for companies overseas in Europe, because they would be waking up at around midnight here in Las Vegas. And I had a little bit of wiggle room to take a nap in between, but I got extremely passionate about it, and it just all, yeah, now we're here.
so does the word crypto now have a negative connotation and we ought to retire the word because it just brings up just ugh to some people?
Yes, I think the word crypto, blockchain, and any terms that are associated with it should just disappear. The reason I say this is because the normal user, the normal person out there trying to buy products or whatnot, they don't quite understand the technology. It's just tech. This fancy lingo that we're out there or trying to put out there doesn't mean anything to the normal consumer. When you're trying to sell a product that deals with blockchain, get rid of the whole blockchain element altogether, change for instance, like let's say an NFT, right? What is an NFT? It's a collectible, it's a digital asset. instead of calling it an NFT, you're going to change the terminology to a Web2 audience and call it a digital collectible. Much like when, back in the day, when people would buy a CD. A CD would sometimes come with a digital download, right? That you can go and it have exclusive content. Same concept in Web3. Now let's say you're selling art, right? You're selling music, NFTs, for instance, which is something that I'm currently working in. When selling an NFT that deals with music, you would be changing the marketing style from using terminology like blockchain and the word non-fungible token terms and things like that, and you would get rid of it altogether. You would change the terminology to things like digital music collectible, or DMC, much like when we were using the acronyms of MP3 or MP4 back when that was the big hype during the iPod days and the MP3 the little MP3 days and all that stuff. And I think once we start getting rid of the fancy terms that have to do with the tech and make that all the underlining, part of the product, and start adding terminology that people can relate to or that they find palatable. I think we're going to be doing a whole lot better with bringing in that Web2 audience, and it'll make it feel safer. It'll make it feel more relatable and less scary, less of a risk. And then on top of that, let them still use the credit card and debit card payments that they're so used to. So a lot of the problems with today's platforms that are in Web3 is that they solely deal with crypto and nothing more. Why not add the best of both worlds so that it makes the wall that these Web2 users that are coming in less higher to jump over, right? So you add in your credit card, debit card payments so that they still are able to purchase this NFT. The NFT or the digital asset will stay native on the platform until they figure out how to, create a MetaMask wallet or create a wallet in general, just so they can dive in and buy some Ethereum and get into this a lot more easier.
You kind of started to jump forward to my next question, which is essentially, let's think, every year they decide which are the new emojis, right? You have
Right.
this board that's okay. So does there need to be a Webster's dictionary with terms like digital twin and things that you get what it's about by the name, but they are palatable? Does there need to be some consensus amongst people within the industry itself?
Yes. So this is a conversation that I've had with the people that I work with right now, and we were discussing how to get rid of non-fungible token, how to get rid of the terminology. What can we replace it with? Well, we started brainstorming and going with, virtual music asset, virtual art asset. The word virtual doesn't really quite fit with this because when you think of virtual, you're thinking about Oculuses or VR headsets or things like that. So we decided to go into, digital collectible. Digital collectible is too broad of a term. So then I decided to put out the idea, digital music collectible, DMC, which is also interchangeable and sounds really nice when you say it, because the acronym can be interchangeable between digital music collectible, digital movie collectible, digital media collectible, right? And it gave me kind of like an aha moment when I thought of that, and now we're playing around with that, and hopefully it sticks. And without saying too much, because I will get in trouble, I'm working with some of the biggest companies out there that are trying to figure out exactly how to make music NFTs palatable and less scary to the average consumer that want to support their favorite musicians, their favorite DJs, their favorite artists that are just out there in general, without having to fear non-fungible tokens or these really technical terms.
You know, the first time I heard the word mass adoption,
Right.
the definition I was given was it's essentially when the U.S. government or other governmental entities allow for an even playing field against the traditional way of doing things, and that element was kind of tied to it, not when grandma wants to talk Bitcoin, right? There was kind of this element of, there was an external force that was going to have to do something, some event to create this thing that we're terming mass adoption. And so it seems to me that mass adoption, by the definition that people are using it more today, which is it's being used on a massive level. It's permeated our life, and it's permeated everybody's life in a household kind of way. That is likely to occur to the vast majority of people in a way they don't even know that it's blockchain technology.
Right.
Mortgages, cars, various business aspects of how things are done traditionally at a title company is going to be changed because of the verifiability of this.
Correct.
On a massive scale, industry is going to at some point adopt these things. So is there a difference between where I say that is, my perception of that, and what I'm kind of referring to is adoption of the masses, where everyone just goes, NFT? Oh, well, of course. Like cell phone. Like, you couldn't find a person on this planet who doesn't think cell phone.
Mhm.
Yes, of course. Rotary phone? No cell phone? It's just commonplace to everyone. Do you think that, any thoughts on that? I'm kind of throwing out a word salad. It's not really a question here, but just take the words I've said and go wherever the fuck you want to go with it.
I think we're still a decade away from mass adoption. I honestly believe that. After dealing with this community and this technology for the last 7 years, I still feel like we're a while away, at least 10 years away from someone's grandma being able to just be okay with this. I'm 33. In 10 years, I'll be 44 or 43. And I feel like the youth it'll be like a normal everyday thing for them. Collecting JPEGs and flipping them for a profit is just going to be an everyday thing for them. The current NFT market is pretty much run by Gen Zers at this point, Gen Zers and millennials. And then once the new generation, and I believe they're called Gen Alpha, when they start getting a hold of this stuff, you know, think about the kids of today. Like they are so much more technologically advanced than you and I when we were kids. We were sitting there playing with dirt and playing with little Legos and whatever. And now these kids at the age of 3, they're sitting there on iPads, you know, watching movies and playing games and, you know, things that we were never able to do because we didn't have the technology. I just feel like in 10 years, this new age, this new population, this new generation is just going to take it to the next level, and we're gonna be in the Web 4, the beginnings of Web 4. I'll probably lose my job to some AI technology that can understand algorithms better than I can within seconds. Or, yeah.
Try and raise your volume a little bit. Because
Sorry, yeah.
Okay, so again, if you don't hear a question, it's because it's the same thing. I'm just
Yeah.
throwing out things, you go wherever you go, okay?
Cool.
So but this is an actual question.
Okay.
So if I think investment, Warren Buffett. Software, Bill Gates. Space, Elon Musk. Web3, crypto, NFT, blockchain.
One more time.
If you think traditional,
Yeah.
Wall Street investment, Warren
Right.
Buffett.
Yeah, Warren Buffett. Yeah.
Elon Musk, Bill Gates. Who is that in this space?
Everyone sees Satoshi Nakamoto as the grandfather of blockchain, and yeah, sure, he was the one that created Bitcoin, according to a lot of people. But right now, in this current time, I don't feel like we have a leader. Sure, we have a bunch of influencers that are running around trying to make the market, a bunch of builders that are trying to create great software, apps, platforms to, you know, help make this more easier for people to adopt. But as far as a leader in this community, I believe we have a bunch of micro leaders that are trying to become the leaders in this space. But is there one person that we can call right now that is going to be creating the next global crypto association, United Nations of crypto or whatever? No, absolutely not. We do not have one. There's plenty of people out there that believe they are, but I don't think we have one just yet.
Okay, so there's a lot of theories. He's dead or whatever. But have you heard this one? It's actually a she, because a man would stand up and want to claim it, like ego, like, oh yeah, it's definitely me, and prove it. Whereas a woman is just like, nah, I don't need to.
I can see that. Oh, you want me to run with that? Okay, cool.
You won't hear me say that. So if you
gotcha.
actually want to go there, you got to parrot back what I said.
I don't know if I want to get into genders, to be honest.
Skip
Yeah.
it.
All right, skip it.
I'll get it from someone else. But that was brought up to me, and I went, that actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's stick with this train of thought as far as leaders within the space. Do we not need an evangelist? Do we not need someone that's already in the public eye, who has the philosophy, the best interest of it, based on other people we talked about earlier, who is out there trying to be the evangelist for this industry and perpetuate the ideas at the root of the philosophy that we all want to see survive? Should there be? Is there somebody on the horizon? Have you seen somebody acting in that way?
Do we have evangelists in the community? Yes, we have plenty of them. We have a lot of people that believe they know what the right direction for blockchain is. There's plenty of people out there that have very similar ideas to each other. There's definitely a lot of people out there that have very differing ideas from each other. There's some people that want regulation. There's some people that want to keep it decentralized. There's so many differing opinions. Who's right, who's wrong? I'm not the one to say that. One day someone is going to come out on top and become that voice. Is going to be the one that's going to rally all the people together and get them to finally band together and start some crazy association that's going to essentially govern everything crypto related, or keep it decentralized. When? I don't know.
Do you think that should be a famous person who's already famous?
Should it be a famous person? Should a famous person be the one to lead the charge in this community? Many have tried.
Couldn't a famous person make this more of a household thing?
Many have tried, and many have failed. There's definitely plenty of musicians, top level, tens of millions of streams a year musicians that have come into the community and tried to become the evangelists of, you know, the music NFT space. There's been also a bunch of top level artists out there that have tried to dominate and be the evangelist for the one-of-one community, the fine art community, or modern art community in the NFT space. And we're talking about really top tier people, but a lot of them have also essentially failed just because of a bunch of different reasons. They were either not involved in the community for a long period of time and decided, oh, because I have a huge following in Web 2, that I can just get everyone to rile around me and I'm going to rule this entire community. Many have tried that and many have failed that. The people that do the best are the ones that aren't known to the people that do the best in the community, the people that are currently the top tier evangelists of the community are honestly normal Joe Schmoes like you and me. People that just really that have a strong passion for the technology, that have a strong passion for art, that just have a strong passion, and they actively put their voice out there every single day on like Twitter, Discord, or whatever other platform is being used currently in the community to, you know, to spread a message. I don't think it's going to be a celebrity that's going to be kind of ruling this.
So, the music industry has been dying for a while, okay? You've got 70-year-old rock stars prancing around on the stage because record sales are what they are, you know?
Right.
And they're still trying to rake in millions of dollars, which I personally don't want to see, but, you know, the idea of somebody who's not even that far advanced, it's tour until you drop fucking dead, is the only business model.
Right.
When NFTs first came about, there was this, oh, this is the godsend for the starving artist, for the beginner, for the up and coming. It takes the record company out of the equation and gives us the, I don't know if you've heard the 100,000 True Fans theory.
Yeah.
It allows you to do that. It's you and your community, and that community can be tiny to survive. Do you think that we're moving to a world in which Web3, everybody has their crypto back? I mean, you were talking about people that are there, and Snoop Dogg is the first one that comes to mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so do you think that every artist is kind of going, okay, what is this, what is this, what is this? And that the record companies in general are going to have to start kind of figuring this out themselves, and that you're going to start seeing new advancements like what the Wu-Tang Clan did with this Unknown album, but you're going to sell it as an NFT. You get the whole album, and if you want to buy a song, so the whole album's $1 million, and each song is $250,000. And do you think that something like that is going to happen? And if something like that happened, it's that watershed event. Like most people, when they think 2008, they don't understand how it was related to Glass-Steagall repeal, which happened decades before. But we all look at 2008 and go, this was the event that changed everything.
Mm-hmm. If I understand your question correctly, you're asking, are big companies and top-level artists and top-level musicians and all these big people, are they relying on people like me to get them in?
Well, we know that's happening, right?
Yeah.
But my question is somebody like you going to go into, whoever the artist is, and say, okay, so this is what we've concocted. This is this media blitz. This is this fantastic thing that we're creating that is this NFT blockchain phenomenon, everything laid out in this impeccable marketing launch kind of where it just, the whole world goes, what the F is this?
Right.
Because they're still talking about the unreleased album. Basically because some asshole bought it. Okay, let's just face it.
Yeah.
Right, but they're still talking about it. And so do you think, because again, I'm coming back to what is it that's going to take us from here to what I'm calling adoption of the masses, where it's a household thing, where we all just go, blockchain, of course. Of
Right.
course. I don't even understand it, but of course. I don't know how my cell phone works,
Yeah.
but I can't live without it.
Yeah. I gotta articulate
No,
this
no, no,
correctly.
take your time, take your time. Because whatever comes out of you is going to be beautiful, right? But take your time to let it process.
Okay. Bless you.
Salute. Gesundheit.
Okay. So, almost monthly, I have top level celebrities sometimes coming into my DMs or being introduced to me by some friends that know me in the community as a marketer or a top level marketer, whatever they want to call me, right? And they want to make introductions just to merely onboard this celebrity. About 2 months ago, a quite elderly celebrity, his management team approached me asking if I would be interested in creating a collection for him. But they wanted to do it their way. They wanted to do all the marketing in the way they saw that they wanted to do it. They merely just wanted me to be the person to give them advice. They didn't take my advice. Matter of fact, they went completely against what I told them to do. And their project failed. Their collection failed, essentially. No one wanted to buy it. My advice to them was to basically, they need to, before even launching anything, they need to get in the trenches with these people. Get in the trenches with the degens, getting in the trenches with the people that are on Twitter Spaces all day, every single day. His management team essentially told me, no, he's not going to do that. He won't do that. He doesn't have time for that. And they decided to go and just put a bunch of ads out there on Facebook and Twitter and Google ads, and it went nowhere. They sold, I believe the numbers were 100 out of 10,000 in the collection, and then that was it. They packed up and left, and those people that unfortunately bought, they were left with something useless. Essentially, they were left with a brick. These celebrities that are trying to come in right now, and I do have to be careful with my words here, these celebrities that are coming in right now, a good chunk of them are just looking to make a quick cash grab. And that's not healthy for the overall mass adoption part of this whole thing, right? These big companies that are looking to come in here, a bunch of them are just looking to make a quick buck, quick $2 million from a collection, and then dip out. And we see it all the time. In order for mass adoption, in order for blockchain to be a household name, much like a cell phone, much like an MP3 player, much like any other piece of technology that we don't really think about the technology, and it's just something that we have in our in our everyday life. We need to start educating these bigger companies and these celebrities that the people that are purchasing into this, they look for very specific things we don't play by the rules anymore. That we have our own set of rules in this whole grand thing that we're all putting our time into right now. I think that answered the question. Maybe.
So let's talk a little bit about marketing, branding, and how it's changing. Web3 is community.
Right.
It's forming a community. It's respecting the expectations of the overall community. And, you know, marketing and branding has kind of changed to begin with, even before all this, in the sense of, you know, the younger generation looks at something and says, bullshit, right? They're much more quick to be cynical about things. And so do you think that the whole thing of marketing to this next generation is more about identifying with the person that you're trying to reach, not the traditional, what is the problem, how do I solve the problem, how do I get you to believe that my product solves the problem that you have, and that it's less about driving home the brand, and it's more about connection, and again, coming back to that 1,000 true fan feeling of, I need to get you to believe that I don't care about the money, that I'm doing what I'm doing, and if you like my product, great. And this whole Web3 community philosophical thing is just kind of an extension of this whole new generation that is just like, you know what? Fuck McDonald's and Walmart twice as much as the generation before. You know, they're much more likely to want to engage smaller or to make it themselves. And eco-friendly is absolutely a choice over how expensive it is. Organic is a choice over how expensive it is. Even to people who can't really afford it, because that philosophy, that mindset, that I gotta do what's right, and that's really seems to be integrated into Web3. Everyone in this space seems to be kind of that. And so how is your perceptions of marketing, traditionally what you've learned, shifting or not?
When I first got into Web3 and, you know, I had already had maybe 4 years of marketing experience underneath my belt, and 4 years is a decent amount of time to kind of know and understand exactly how to sell a product, how to get people excited about your product. When I got into Web3 and I was selling ICOs, altcoins, and financial products like that, I learned very quickly that everything that I learned in prior years meant nothing. Everything is very organic in Web3. Everything is is done in a way where, so let's say back in 2015, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the big social media companies essentially blacklisted any ad that was out there that had to do anything, that had any keywords in blockchain, that had any keywords in crypto, whatever, right? It made it extremely difficult to get the word out there, to get more users to come and buy into your product and such. So what we had to resort to was influencers. What we had to resort to was word of mouth. What we had to resort to was referral programs. And yes, these things still work in Web 2, but we had to do a whole lot more of the organic guerrilla marketing styles that, you know, not a lot of Web 2 marketers do these days. A lot of Web 2 marketers love to just rely on putting in a lot of ad spend out there to bring in an ROI, to bring in new leads, and that's that. When selling NFTs, it's a lot more personal. I learned very quickly that a lot of the musicians have to be on Twitter Spaces every single day for hours a day discussing their music. And it's the only way that they can market their music NFTs, because places like Facebook and Twitter and all these other big social media platforms still don't quite allow for paid ads to be put out there. A lot of these influencers that are out there currently today charge a very high premium just to even talk about your collection or whatever, and that's a problem as well. I had an influencer once quote me $10,000 for a single tweet. How am I supposed to go back to my bosses and say that this is worth it? We're going to definitely get an ROI as a return on our investment from this single tweet. And so we definitely, with marketing Web3, what I've learned is that it's just purely a lot more organic, and it's become more of a personal approach to everything. And your team has to be out there talking to as many people that are buying these assets, that are buying into this art, or buying into these music NFTs, or even these coins, and try to get people excited and ask them to go get their friends excited and to go to their Discord servers and get an entire Discord server excited and so on. So it's extremely different.
So all this is traditional, is versus the traditional, but it all speaks to the younger generation, which isn't what we need for mass adoption.
Correct.
So how do you straddle the line of trying to get the older people? I'm in my 50s. How do you get me without upsetting them? So do you revert back traditional, a Super Bowl ad? Just keep throwing money at it? How do you get a whole world of elderly people closer to mass adoption through marketing, when the very marketing you would traditionally use to get that demographic so offends the younger that they automatically be like, fuck you forever?
Right.
I mean, Chick-fil-A, forever. No young person will ever forget that, right?
Right.
So how do you straddle the line between? Are you doing a two-pronged approach? What do you do?
So when we're talking about marketing to Gen Zers versus marketing towards a much more older demographic, it is definitely a two-pronged approach. Like I was saying earlier, we need to have two versions of the campaign. One version is going to have all the degen technical blockchain talk that the Gen Zers are very much accustomed to. And then the other side is going to try and simplify this to the most relatable form possible, where we get rid of all the technical jargon, where we get rid of all the technical terms, and we replace it with much more relatable terms, messaging, and so on. And then on top of that, allow for payments that they're accustomed to, such as credit card and debit card, adding Stripe onto your platform.
Let's start with slightly different. Is proof of stake or proof of work more or less secure?
I'm not confident with that one.
Is proof of stake somehow missing the boat by calling itself green or the eco blockchain?
Still not confident with that one.
Give me a second, maybe I can
Yeah.
come up with something else. No, I mean, look, we've got some great stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything I've missed or anything
I
you
think we're
want?
good, honestly. Yeah. I appreciate you.
No.